This is the best the East has looked in years. So free agency has kind of died down after we have seen a bunch of moves, and the conference that has been booming the most has been the Eastern Conference, as a bunch of teams have reloaded, brought in new pieces to compete, and what's looking like a wide open East next year. I mean, obviously, if you look at this, we know Boston isn't going to be up here next year, and Indiana isn't going to be there either, but outside of those two, we could literally see any one of these teams from 1 to 8 jump up. The team that's probably going to take the biggest jump is none other than the Atlanta Hawks. This past season, they were obviously very underwhelming being in the play-in, but in the offseason, they have made some very key moves. From the draft to drafting Asa Newell to even making a big trade to get the 23rd pick to get Asa Newell, but also getting unprotected next year, to even what they've done in free agency to getting certain players around Trae Young. You have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you got Kristaps Porzingis, among other players, to just build a really strong defensive unit around Trae Young. And we know in order for Atlanta to be successful, you have to have some defense around Trae. But then you also should have to look out for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, they have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, who should be much better this year and healthier. But you also added Lonzo Ball, who is a great connective piece, and I believe he can still play some meaningful basketball as long as he can stay healthy. And him next to Evan Mobley, it might get wicked. But then, of course, you can't forget the Knicks. I mean, they have Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and they just signed Gershon Yabusele from the Sixers. And now that bench is looking real legit. And if Karl-Anthony Towns can play better next year, or depending who the head coach they bring in, the Knicks could possibly make it to the finals next year, because why not? Even outside of them, we could see Detroit take a big leap as well, and Orlando. Orlando made a big trade to get Desmond Bane, and we could see that fit working out really nicely for Orlando and them being a top seed. And Detroit, shoot, if all them young players take a big leap in the offseason and develop like that's supposed to happen, Detroit could be one of the top teams in the East as well.